Alright everyone, Davis here, and today we're going to continue drawing. As you can see, I've wiped the artwork that we've had for a Nintendo Switch. I didn't really thought through this thing because I think I was way too tired at that point. It's Monday today, so that's good. Please let me send out a real quick the link. Mm, okay, that's done. Let's get this. That's done. No. Here. 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 All right. I think we've got it. So first of all, I want to experiment a little bit, but it might not be necessarily an experimentation that you might really expect. So I was looking a little bit more into I was looking a little bit more into the Rinotuna's style and Rinotuna's drawing, especially the freshest sketches that he did. It's just there's so much stuff going on right there. A lot of things in general, things that, yeah. So what I really believe is that there's something I'm doing wrong. I feel like the brush that I'm using for line art is not really making lines as they supposed to, or it's just the fact that they don't really have as good control over my stuff. So probably that's the thing. So yeah, but I am going to so basically what also I've noticed is Tuna is not necessarily like blending his shadows as much. He kind of just puts them on and that's it. That makes the main difference between my style and Rino Tuna actually. And I think that my style is something has a bit better shading than what I see on Rino Tuna's. I just prefer this to draw this way. But I really like the sketches. The main problem that I see, well, is that my shading supposed to have a bit better control. Hi T, glad to be here. How are you? Hope has gone. Haven't seen in a while. How have you been? I'm doing great. Doing great. I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Nintendo Switch, yes. Basically, what I'm going to do is going to be just drawing. Just drawing characters, I guess. But yeah, I'm just chilling. Let's turn on the music. How about that? New songs came in. I think Rinatuna also at some point in one of the artworks of his, he was showing. Yeah, he was showing stuff. Yeah, so basically one of those like older ones that Reno did supposed to have the, and I mean like those are like really darn old. Which one could it be? Was it this? No, I don't think so. It was one of the very older ones. Hmm. Was it this one? No. Please give me a minute. I'm going to real quick find stuff. They want. I mean. I think it was here when he was doing the. Yeah. No, it wasn't this one. Which one could it be then? This one? Oh yeah, it does look like this. I doubt though. Oh no, it is here. Okay. Alrighty. I'm using earphones right now since my PC broke and it's terrible at audio output. Oh no. Oh no. To be honest, yeah, I see. It's okay. I'm sorry if I'm way too silent, to be fair, you know? I'm sorry if I'm way too silent. So I'm sorry that I can hear two out of 10 words that you're saying. Onyo. Wait, let me do that and... Okay, for now maybe. Let's just keep things turned off. So I see now what Renatino was doing. That's exactly what I wanted. He was like... He was also showing some of his... like tests. Headphones, yeah. It's okay. So that's that. Like he was studying this, like the skull and stuff, so that's that. And also faces. So T, tell me, how have you been? How have you been doing? Personally, I've been doing good. I'm slightly tired after work. So the thing is that I really want to like get around with even more expressive faces, if that makes sense. Doing good. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear it. So basically, the difference between like adult and kid would be that, you know, adults are going to have like, you know, already like finished stuff, right? It's like they're done with like development. You know, like kids are going to, for example, be structurized closer to this, you know, to this thing. And wow, that was fast. We've already got a bot. Okay, cool, cool. But yeah, basically, like I want to for like younger characters, I want to make the characters' faces like, you know, smaller, but also like it's going to be very dependent on things. So I don't really want to define yet if it's going to be kid or not. So, how was your drawing? I want this character to have like, you know, like sitting, like kind of irritated but bored facial expression, if that makes sense. Because like in the general idea, the character's like sister is going to sit behind him or like try to like get his attention or like hug him. Let me open stream on phone to hear what you're saying. Damn. Damn. And that's the thing, like I'm drawing like proper postures, but now as I want to make a character that is kind of like slouching, that's like problem. And and that's going to suck because actually Davis is supposed to like slouch a lot. So if I want to draw the manga, I need to like make sure that first I'm going to understand how to draw slouching characters. See, because like supposed to be like this, right? So it's like, yeah. Uh, that'll be a problematic thing. Okay. Let me turn on the music again to focus a little bit more. So, that's the... Hi, Ran. Got over here. How are you? Hope has going? How have you been? Hi. I've been doing good. Thank you. Glad to have you here. I've been just, you know, chilling a little. How have you been, Ran? Feeling good? Feeling alright? Yeah, I don't know really. I just find it shocking when you do sketches like that. Oh my. Well, glad to hear that, I guess. Unless it's a bad thing to do. Like, I want the character to be like, you know, kind of like in this kind of sludge. You know? And we see the character kind of like this. So the torso also supposed to go like this. So you have the head. We are going to have the torso is going to go like this. We are going to have the legs looking like this. But then everything else sucks. Or maybe? So, have you been, Ran? Did you draw anything since the last time I see you? I've been struggling a bunch. I'm making random drawing. That's absolutely perfect. That's absolutely perfect. So yeah, I finally started to do my 2D model now, but little by little. Hey, that's cool. That's very cool, you know? I like that. Can't wait to see the finished, you know, the finished product of yours. I believe in you. You can do it. Okay. So you have that. That's a bit better and more dynamic pose actually. I'm wondering how to make the eyes though on this one. I'm still confused with the eye design. Damn. Same. Just imagine. So basically I want this to be like, you know, the troublemaker type of character of a boy who, like, you know, got in trouble with the parents because he was like beating someone up, but as a matter of fact he was like helping his sister and his sister knows that, so he's now like kind of pissed because the sister is like hugging him, but as a matter of fact he like kind of messed up his you know. That's another issue that I'm having that I've noticed. It's like I know like how to structure certain facial expressions, but I'm so like out of touch with them that I just can't really manifest them. You know? He's going to have like bandaged hands, you know? We're going to give him like, you know, like boxers kind of, you know, sweatpants. So. That's that. I'm going to like paint this whole thing like blue, just to make sure, you know, that we'll know who's who. We're going to make the head smaller. Like, I don't want them to be like young kids, you know what I mean? I kind of want one eye to be star in order to have moon phases and can be changed to have, though I'm confused with design color. I need them both to be kind of like the same, around the same age. Damn, I wish I could turn on different sounds, but you know. Gotta dodge the bullet on, you know, need to keep dodging bullets on the thing on YouTube. Kind of. But I can't work on kind ofs. I need to like keep on making proper, you know, proper things. Okay, the head is way too big now. Kinda like this. Okay. That works. I don't like the legs, so let's get rid of these and let's make new ones. I think the torso is too long. Yep. Yeah, I think we kind of have it. So, the sun and moon, having colors, I think you should already have the character colors in. Keep in mind that even things like colors should be attached to the, you know, theme colors of the character, you know. Okay, let's merge these two, and actually I can mark all of them and expand towards this area like this. Yeah. So we'll have a nice like full illustration going on. I'm going to use this. I think we can use 25% opacity. And sorry, 25% size. Also, this should be like 25%. Yeah. So we're going to make something simple. But not too much, not too simple. Okay. So, this weekend I didn't really watch much One Piece, unfortunately. I didn't really catch up with it, but today I'm going to work on the game, so I'm happy with that. I finished yesterday a lot of things. I just need to post stuff and, you know, yeah, in the places where they're supposed to be posted, and I'll be good to go. Right? I kind of need to watch out for how long their craniums are and whatnot. His mouth is... okay, whatever. Yeah, it needs to be, you know, aligned with everything. Okay, hold on. It's not my day today. That's why I prefer playing games on Monday, but I haven't streamed yesterday, so I didn't have material to have like something between the gaming streams. So I was like, oh yeah, let's just draw today. Why not, I said. It seems like a good idea, I said. And here I am struggling with one eye for like God knows how long. Damn! That's also the problem. Yeah, that's much better. Everything sucks. This entire post sucks. Why? I can't. I just can't today. And he looks like a woman. So, congrats. And looks like a woman, not even like, you know, not even like a teenager. So, even worse. Okay, whatever. Let's try again, right? I'm not in a good situation today. I'm on one. Hey, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's alright. It's okay. Go to sleep. I should rehydrate, yeah. Thank you. Actually, I think I should. And actually, he needs kind of like chiseled jaw like this. So now we can determine that it's more boyish character because it doesn't have like pointy chin, it has like kind of cut chin. I think it's like a cut tail or something like that. That's what I'm also talking about. The lighting quality is very specific. It's not varying. That's something I'm really missing at my artwork. It was really giving a lot of depth when I was doing that. Hi, your Candy Show. Good to have you here. How are you? Hoping it's going? Haven't seen a while. How have you been? Hi, Pixel Rosas. Good to have you here. How are you? Hoping it's going? I think this might be the first Instagram, so hope you find a coffee corner here. How are you? Actually, I always wondered if those had any taste. They taste like grass. That's it. It was just something for, like, you know... Are you an artist? Yes, I am. I actually am. Hi, Agent Mothman. Got over here. How are you? Hope it has gone. Haven't seen you in a moment. How have you been? Yeah, Pixel. I am an artist. I'm drawing. For example, right now, today, you know? An artist as well. Hey, let's go. Slay. Let's go. Glad to hear that. We all are. I've been pretty good. I've tried to expose an alien. What do you mean try to expose an alien? Might be crap though. Oh my. Zim. Oh. Tell me more. Hi Golden, glad to have you here. How are you? Hope right has gone. Have you been? What are you drawing? We're drawing random characters based off of Nintendo Switch. Today that's that case to work on. Tomorrow we are going to continue working on a comic book. We're going to kind of redo the pages. Because I've took up some knowledge from a friend of mine who's been making webtoons for a while now, and she's really good. I have to tell you, she's really darn good. And I'm really glad she taught me a little bit more about making webtoons. I'm a small creator as well. I love when small creators stream. You can just talk to them. Yeah, I enjoy talking with people in general. That's why I prefer to stream myself. Me good, how are you? I'm doing great. Just resting after work. My friend has recognized Zin's voice actor Richard Hurwitz. Oh, I see. I think Agent Mothman, something like YouTube might have cut off some of your messages. Like some people just put a random AI video, you can't even talk and they somehow have more than 1,000 subs. Yeah, I know, but this is the thing we're going for, unfortunately. It's most likely the usage of the YouTube thing. I only completed one webtoon ever, and it was My Dear Cold-Blooded King. I am an absolute bug fan of that webtoon. Let's go, let's go. Oh, I feel it. So, Pixel, actually, when it comes to, like, you know, measurements in subs and stuff, there are a couple things to take for the account. Like, of course, subs, right? Someone has more subs from you, but you can determine, for example, videos from which they've got most of the subs. Like, for example, most of Hololive VTubers have their mostly viewed videos to be... I don't usually go to people's live because people kind of judge me. I don't know why, but I'm enjoying plays live anyways. It's okay, it's okay. No one's judging here. We're all accepting. Here's a funny thing to ask. Would you feature me in the name of the video? No, I don't think so. I've only made comic in my mind only. I say that I have to admit, Ren, that's actually already halfway through. We're a chill bunch, only good lads. Oh. Yeah, we are definitely. Well, I gotta go now. Alright, Pixel. Alrighty. Hope to see you more often. Take care. Bye. Bye. So yeah, I'm subbing it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my. Welcome to the family then. And yeah, you know, we continue drawing thing. We're all chilling here. Okay. Fun fact, Davis, I actually was intrigued the first time I saw my sister was watching your live stream. That's when you had your Vtuber character on. He had his torso out and I thought, wait a minute, what are you doing? Oh my. Oh my. Yeah. Well, I've based the VTuber model off of Davis's character. Actually, in the manga, we are going to also make on stream when we'll, when I'll catch up some more experience with webtoons and I'll feel more comfortable with drawing comic books. So basically, Davis actually has this problem that whenever he's like using his spells, most of his clothings are burning. So, and only like materials, like clothings and materials from his like lens are still like allowing him, to like sustain and stuff. And the thing is that actually Davis just feels better himself to not really wear any shirt, because actually like in the manga there are like different races of people, right? So we have, for example, Jupiterians, which what Davis is, because he comes from so basically Davis was Davis is this some kind of an islander, right? So he comes from the island of Jupiter, which in the story is a massive desert, nothing else. So like you have sand and sand and sand from sea to sea, right? And it's the only point on the entire planet that all 7 suns are like capable to like heat on the island at the same time. So also in theory, Jupiter doesn't really have that many nights because there's constantly some kind of sun rising and and going at dawn, and only whenever all of the suns are visible, only then it's like available to really have like a full night, because all of them are disappearing nearly at the same time. Then I decided to follow your account and bring my support because my little sister's interest in creative. I want to encourage her watching people who inspire her. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. I really wish I could like reach more, possibilities and be more supportive towards some like people's interests and be more inspiration. I'm really glad in general that I can reach to people basically. And it really warms my heart that, you know, Victoria, for example, is, you know, getting encouraged to like express herself via art. Oh my. My parents aren't supporting when it comes to creative media's art. When I was younger, they kind of made me feel ashamed introducing those instead of heavy academics. My parents never really, well, so I've had very specific relation with art when I was younger, especially with like my parents. So seeing her grow up, I want to make sure sure she enjoys both. I'm really glad. I'm really glad. You're a really good sister, Panda. You're a really good sister. So actually, me myself, well, I've had very specific relation with art because my father used to make stained glass for churches. I come from very Catholic family, and I think it also kind of had an influence on what I've been ending up drawing most of the time. But yeah, the thing is that despite my father, like, you know, stained glass are so beautiful. Yeah, that's true. So basically, in general, even though my father was like always drawing some project for the stained glass, or actually he was spending like, you know, half of his day in one work and then going to the other work, which was the stained glass thing, because it was like grandpa's business, right? My father was just helping him for like some additional cash, basically. So the thing is that I didn't really have like actual support to that. I was never really assigned to any art school. I was never really pushed in that direction, even though I was already drawing for a really long time. Like I was 6, right? It was primary school. We had art schools here. I could go to like, you know, some middle school related to some middle school, it's, yeah, a long run, some gymnasium related to arts basically, but I've never really attended any like additional, you know, after schools classes. I've never went to anything. All I've had was just learning by myself, and I've had really rough how to say this, critics. There you go. I had really rough critics, and basically, you know, at some point it was like very difficult for me, you know, despite like I was, you know, winning competitions. I was even shown in our local newspapers because of my artworks. You know, I was hitting achievements, right? But the problem came with, you know, how to say this? The problem came in with problems like, you know, art and, you know, basically everything related to things like that was very expensive, and my family didn't really have much money, so it was very difficult to really even like progress with other media or anything like that. I remember I found some I remember I found some random knife when I was younger, and I was just weeding, you know, with this random knife I found on the ground. Basically, I just sharpened it, cleaned it off whatsoever, and I was just, you know, trying to weed with it, and it was very difficult, but I was still like weeding in those twigs that I had. But, and you know, basically I was always trying to find something artistic for myself, like drawing on the corners of the stuff and whatsoever, but every single thing was like kind of against this idea. So considering that, even if though like my family was kind of supportive of that, because like, you know, father was working arts right at that point, and you know, daddy died then, basically. They weren't really that supportive when it comes to my learning how to draw, basically. So yeah, I was learning from, I remember I was marking from Mark Riley, for example. Mark Riley was one of the folks who I was learning how to draw from, but after all, Mark Riley didn't really push through. There was this girl also from Poland. She was like drawing stuff. She was really good at art, but she deleted her entire channel, wiped her social media. God knows why. Maybe she was like bullied at school or something. Who knows? Because someone found her channel. Things like that happen. But I've noticed that no matter how much you try, you don't really get that many people on the internet. So I was like usually ending up like looking at some, like, you know, some anime scenes, like Dragon Ball scenes, fairy tale scenes, and I was just looking at the screen and I was just drawing. You know, it kind of helped me to at some point develop skills needed to like quickly jumpstart my digital art when I first got the, you know, my first non-screen tablet, right? Because I had to also constantly look at the screen, not where I'm drawing, where I'm holding my hand. But yeah. That's how I've actually learned how to draw. I was a copyist. And like, you know, the problem was that I was never really drawing things by myself, or at least I wasn't really showing things I was drawing for myself. I was always showing like artworks that I've copied off of the internet when I was younger to my parents, and you know, at some point, like, you know, I was hanging out with my parents and the question landed like, what do you want to do when you grow up, you know? And what was really shattering was when I've told my told my parents that I want to learn art and stuff, and my father, and literally like hearing from you know, from your parent, from father, that I'll never be, you know, I'll never be an artist because I'm a copyist. Like, I can do that for a hobby, but I'll never be a real artist, right? And that kind of cut deeper than a sword. And with like bullying online, which was high, you know, in popularity, especially back then, that was actually, you know, that was actually one of the things that like all that cumulative stuff actually kind of caused me to drop art for like 2 years. I think I haven't touched drawing for 2 years at all. Like, you know, pencils and stuff were gathering dust after that, and I just get back to art because like I was really finding comfort in that, and you know, I really wanted to get around there. One memory I have is me trying to draw butterflies for an art competition hosted by a museum, but I couldn't finish it and I completely lost the drawing too. Now that I think about it, I really regret losing it. The famous "you are not going to be successful as a successful artist, it's difficult to be successful artist." There's some more dream breaker sentences. Yeah, that's why. But you know what it kind of taught me? Because like I came back to drawing. Against all odds, I came back to drawing, and like I was learning, and I was learning strong, like faster than ever. And I was like, that was when I started to like show myself at the competitions and stuff, you know, and you know, getting like wrote about in the newspapers, you know, like 12-year-old boy drawing realistic portrait of some saint for not some saint, like Saint Patrick, for the Saint Patrick Day at this local school, you know. That was the thing. A lot of people, what a lot of people need to hear is that, you know, no matter what, like what other people say, like just keep going. It's also like it kind of also reformed the way how I'm now like seeing work related stuff. There's no job that you cannot learn. So no matter if you finished a school for IT or you've never had any connection with IT, it's not like you can't learn it. You know, at the right moment and with the right people, with the right like need, you learn those things. Just like that. It's not like I've learned like Baroque art styles just for, you know, just for nothing. No, it was because it was helping me. It was the style I really liked. It was like the style that I kind of learned for the competition. My knowledge later on was guiding me through the school too, because we've had those like knowledge of culture classes, right? The knowledge of culture was like very specific because we were learning about like different styles, different artworks, eras, basically everything related to art, everything. And actually the thing was that, you know, I was just absorbing the knowledge like a sponge when I was younger, so I was just zooming through the class. And the same thing was going on in the, you know, during the like Polish classes, because we had Polish classes like linguistics, right? So in general concept, like we had to write essays and whatnot, basically what you have on your average English classes, right? So, you know, a lot of things were just going on, and from one thing to another, you have no idea what's really going to push you. And what really got me back to art back then were the friends I've met on Dungeon Fighters Online. Those are pretty cool friends I found. Thanks to them, I've got slightly better at English too. Because we were communicating only in English, so it kind of pushed me further to learn English, like more English too, because I was, you know, I had to express something but didn't have the word, so I was like googling the word, and that's how I've learned most of the time. How I was learning things most of the time. I have to admit, it's like it was really cool. Although, you know, it's also kind of, it kind of makes me sad too, because I'm 26 now. I have dreams, I have projects that I want to take care of. Meanwhile, I'm working logistics, which are sucking the entire, like, energy out of me. I can't focus on projects, I can't focus on progressing on anything. So I'm just, you know, this one of those unfulfilled grumps that, you know, grumps to be, who never achieved his own dreams. Logistics hell, yeah. I have no idea how I landed there. I've started working at the warehouse, I got promoted, and before I knew it, I became logistics guy. You know, I've learned logistics too. That's why I am also hoping that, you know, my channel would reach other people. It's not only to just reach more people in general and share the passion to art, it's kind of for myself, you know? This one selfish dream to have something left after me, to have something that would sustain my hobby, my love, my passion, you know? That's why I really want to finally get my shit together and start Davis's Art Academy. The drawing tutorial series where I'm just going to teach people how to draw. Because I know that, you know, if anything would ever happen, those videos are going to be still on YouTube. Nothing is going to happen there. And if anything, I'm going to create a very special... Because, like, you can transfer channels, basically. Hi, J Hunter, glad to be here. How are you? Hope it has going. I think this might be the first time you're around, or maybe not. Your name sounds familiar. Might have seen you maybe once. Hope you find a comfy corner here, though, if it's your first time here. So yeah. That's why, Golden, I can tell you, like, I'm Jayon. Oh, Jayon! Hi! Hi, hello! Oh my, how have you been? Good to see you. How have you been? I am. That's why I call them panda, just by supporting someone's goals like that. You know, I can tell you that you're a good sister. Keep it up. Maybe between siblings there are going to be some quarrels, but all things considered, you are a good sister if you're caring so much for your sister's hobbies and stuff. So yeah. I'm so sorry that I'm a little bit silent today. I'm after work. Work today was painful. Yeah. It was, yeah. I had a very unpleasant meeting with a client. We had a quarrel with this client. Actually, we've had several quarrels. It was always coming up to my thing, you know? They've really tried to screw us over on some changes that were way too big to pass on. So now we have like negotiate better, you know, better money from them and whatnot. It's fine to need to constantly talking. Some silence are appreciated. Oh, it's fine. No need to constantly talking. Some silence are appreciated. Rough week start, yeah. But the thing is, if I can focus on this project solely, because I'm alone on this project, and I have several of them. I have under me nearly all of the clients from our company, and that's the biggest problem. Because I have to have meetings with all of them, I have to keep conversations with them. Like just last week I've had an entire week filled with meetings. 2 whole days were just overfilled with them. It was like meeting after meeting. I didn't even have the possibility for any lunch. It was, yeah. That's why I feel like I really need to be like lower level employee. I prefer to be a puppet loosely strung than someone that manages people like that. One man business, you're doing all by yourself. God, you're probably tired and so busy. Yeah, that's why I might be like looking a bit and sounding a little bit weird. I'm tired corporate after all. Oh my. But yeah, that's the thing. That's the problem. Worry not though. It kind of helped me to, I mean, it gives me like experience for a project manager, so if I'd ever want to like expand on the, you know, on the things, expand on my logistics career, I can like clearly, you know, determine that, hey, I've got actual like on hands project management experience, like here's this and this. Yeah, I have to, you know, say it's me. True, a win is still a win, but what cost? Yeah, at least, well, to be fair, from the amount of workload, they could be paid better, but I'm still not earning too little. But, you know, until what time, up to what time, you know what I mean? The biggest problem with, you know, between me and my boss, and, you know, in general, between me and my everything really, is that, you know, he's not managing everything well. I had to bring several clients because of his, you know, his way of talking with the clients and the way how he prefers to resolve the jobs. And then it was like, you know, yeah, you know, actually that was a really good, like, you know, chain that we've had going. And he's like, call them to, like, you know, establish the contract again. I'm like, bitch, what do you mean by that? Don't you? Yeah. Yeah. Dude's burning the bridges and expects me to, like, you know, build another one for him. And not only that, he like makes sometimes he's making situations worse even while negotiating, because like the client wants to negotiate some, you know, better cases, right? And like, hey, we are going to give you a bit more road to cover, and we can do this and this. And like my boss wants certain, like, you know, amount of money. You know, the person, I already have beef with that person. Yeah. Like, imagine you're under negotiations with a client and he's already making difficulties. Like, I've literally told him, like, hey, this client really needs that specific thing to be going on. Yeah, no problem, we're going to do that. Literally next day I'm getting email like, hey, what the hell, I thought you were going to, like, doing this thing. And I'm like talking to my boss like, hey, like, we were supposed to do that thing. It's really important for the clients to write the contract with us. And he's like, no, we are not going to do that. And I'm like, bitch, what do you mean? Nuh-uh. I hate this. I hate this so much. To be fair, I am in the state that if I would be fired, I don't really care. I wouldn't really care that much. I'm already looking for a new job though. So yeah, you know, that's the main thing for now. I don't mind if I will be fired, at least. You could try out storytelling. I could. But it might be difficult to find storytelling jobs. Or do you mean like storytelling, like telling stories on YouTube? Hi Expa, glad to have you here. How are you? Hoping how's it going? I think this is... Oh, it's not your first time. Nice to see you in person. Just stopped by to say hi. Hello, hello. I thought it might be the first time I see you around, but you don't have that like first timer thing, like first message kind of thing. So hi, hello back. It must have been a really long time, XP. So, today I'm going to chill to my projects, at least. I don't know, I've never seen your face though. Hey, let's go. I started streaming with face not that long ago. I think like last month or 2 months ago, something like this. So yeah. Actually, I have couple stories that I can tell from, like, for example, the current job even. The same problematic client that we are having. It's literally the same client that wasn't paying us hundreds of thousands of euros for a long time, by the way. It's just as problematic, and they were still like expecting us to fall under their like command. Like, dude, you can't even like command your accountant to pay off your bills. Like, what are you talking about? Not only that, I think I've caused some troubles to the guy, to the manager of that one, because it's known that they have like very close connections with a very specific carrier. And basically, you know, it is very known, because even people from that specific carrier came from that carrier to our company, because we are like, you know, having like really cool stuff to drive through, you know. So basically, yeah. But anyway, so the thing was that the driver quote unquote drove off while he was still like in attempt to start loading, you know. I mean, he was still under loading, supposedly. So basically the thing was that so basically from there, like the manager of the like plant, right? So basically like the production line manager came to our offices and was like, you know, I really need to talk with you, and like, you know, your driver drove off of the ramp, almost causing very harsh accident, and like he's showing me the, you know, the footage right from the camera, and actually it's our car, the forklift is like trying to drive onto the car to drop off the pallet, but since the car nearly drove off, the, you know, the forklift nearly like fell out of the whole thing, right, through the ramp. And like, you know, oh okay, that's serious, that's very serious. And like, can I see like a statement, right? Because from something like that they have to make the accident statements. I don't think he knew that I'm going to know about that, but he was like, you know, slightly shocked. He was like, yeah, sure, here's the thing. And I'm reading it through it, and there's the statement of the driver, there's the statement of the lady that's supposed to like give off the keys. So like first of all, he shouldn't even have keys if he was still under loading. And basically like it turned out that it was just an accident caused by their fault, because they don't really have the proper like, you know, support and proper health and safety things that's supposed to regulate such things. Like for example, you know, next to the ramp there should be like red light and green light to show if the driver can drive off and whatnot. But what they were doing was like the drivers had to wait for like the sound of the forklift horn. The problem is that there was like many loadings happening like right one next to one another, and now like figure out which horn was for you and which one wasn't, right? So like, you know, I'm explaining this whole thing to him and he's like, yeah, I can see how it might be our fault. And like, oh, do you now? Do you? Yeah. The best things were like at the warehouse when I was still like warehouse operator. We were working, right? Like I'm standing next to like shelves, like because I was on the problem solving things, and we had like a process where we had shelves and we had to fill out the baskets for the packing stations to, you know, complete things. And basically it was like, you know, oh, this and this is like happening, you know, and like two team leaders are walking up to us and like, oh shoot, are we like in trouble? And he's like, you know, and he was like, did you see a bat? And I'm like, a what? A bat? Like what kind of bat, you know? Well, not necessarily like what kind of bat, because like we have a difference between like baseball bat or some similar bats, but and animal bats. We have like totally different words for that. But it was like, you know, something along the lines that, what bat? What do you mean? Yeah, because like this guy from the picking sector was attacked by a bat, and I'm like, what? Well, I didn't see one, and I better hope so not to. But we actually found it because like they've assigned us, because we were like, you know, kind of standing around and talking. We were talking about like a very specific problem that we've had, because there was something happening within the system, and like we were like trying to figure out how to solve it. And because we were standing there, that's why they woke up to us. So if you ever would work on the warehouse, even if you are going to like talk with your friend there, just make sure that you are looking busy, you know, like hold like some items in your hands, like wave like scanners and whatever, like, and then like talk about stuff, right? Even if you're talking actually about work, because if you are standing and talking without like having like any actual like work looking movement, you're going to be considered a slacker, and they're going to try to find a, you know, a task for you. Pro tip from someone who came from warehouse hell. And we were like, you know, walking around, and we were like trying to spot the little bastard. And some like guy, he was like kind of dense, but he was cool, right? And he's screaming on the entire like hall, right, on the entire thing, and he's like, there's the Batman. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Where's Robin? Hi Muto, good to have you here. How are you? Hoping it's going? How have you been? Feeling alright? I'm tired. Oh no. Well, you've had a long couple minutes. Even hours, to be fair. Those weren't minutes. Like, you've had an awful couple hours. So I understand. Oh, Caproli. Yeah, you did. We talked even before I left my job. Do you think that it's because you usually would just came back to the thing? The change of character is quick, true. Especially when you're like showing them that they are doing something wrong. Or like that they are wrong in general. The changes in the character is really quick. Same as he was the guy was like, you know, the manager of logistics for that client was like, hey yo, like actually we're going to do that, and we're like, no, we are not going to. And he was like, okay, you are going to though. You're contractually obligated. And I'm like, no, we are not. And I'm showing them the CMR, you know, legality, because like all carriers are bound by something called CMR convention, at least here in Europe. So basically, you know, I'm showing him the statements from CMR convention and law, and like it's still long enough for us to cancel the orders, and we're refusing to load the orders you've changed for our, you know, bad thing. And he was like, he like stopped talking, and like the very same day, it was like 15:50, 10 minutes before me ending shift, a phone call, and you can hear that he's like kind of saying this through teeth, and like, we can't find the coverage, please bring the car. Like, you can have the road to be the way you want it to be, like just bring the car. We can't allow ourselves to stop the whole production because of that. And like, see, wasn't that hard. Actually, yeah, that was actually like really satisfying win against that one. I have to admit. I have to admit, it was definitely a very satisfying thing. But alrighty, folks, as always. I'm going to wrap up. It's already 34 minutes. We did some changes. He looks better. I really like his positioning now, because he's actually leaning, but I feel like his elbow should rest somewhere else. I feel like this arm is way too big for him. I feel like it should be like somewhere here, right? Like the elbow should be like somewhere here. So like in general, the whole arm kind of supposed to go up ever so slightly. Because if I calculate it, right? It's like this big, right? Like the arm is this big. And actually to his belly button from the same point, it's like going past it. So the arm is definitely way too big, because if you, for example, look at your own like body build, you are going to notice that from your shoulder, like here, right? That's like literally here's the connection, right? You can feel like that like jump between bones, right? This is your connection. So from this point to tip of your elbow here, right? It's the same length as from the same point of the shoulder to your belly button. So like literally you can calculate how long your arm's supposed to be on the drawing, and you can even make lines to prove that. And well, I'm not going to lie, it happens that realistic proportions look weird. Okay, it is actual thing, it's natural. because it happens. Like, for example, here you might think like, oh, this is like where the elbow is. No. Where the shoulder is. No, the tip of the shoulder is here. This is like the jump between the muscle structure here, right? This muscle structure here. Because you have one point here, you have second point here, and third group here. And that's like allowing you to lift your shoulder up, move it front and back, basically, right? So that's in general the whole thing. So if I take it like from here, right? This is like where the thing is. And go all the way to the tip of the elbow. And I'm going to take it. First of all, let's check if our arms are of the same length. Well, if you're drawing traditionally, you can use your ruler or do the same measurement technique I've done. It's not actual professional technique that people are using in fine arts. And you can see that this whole thing is slightly even bigger than this. So actually I would have to pull that whole thing, right? This whole thing, to make it the hood muscles here, right? First and for all. But then let's take that. I'm moving the swinging point at the tip of this thing, right? The plus is the swinging point. So when I'm going to start like rotating it, it's going to rotate around that certain point. And let's rotate it. And where would it be? See? It's way below the belly button, because the belly button is around this section, right? The like dent section, because he's slouching, right? So like around his belly button, the whole like he's like bending, right? So that's causing the skin indentation. So it's actually way too big, and the other arm is also way too big, right? So actually this would have to be here, and you can see that it's also way too big, but this, well, should be here, right? So we know now that this element should be where the elbow, where the thing's supposed to be, because we know that this whole thing right now, if compared, it would be realistically made, right? Which means there's still this whole chunk here. That's why it looks this whole thing looks kind of unnatural. That was a quick tip for everyone before we end the stream. So tomorrow we are going to work on the comic book. Again, I've learned a lot, so I want to put it to test. I'm going to probably write some scenario later on. First of all, I want to work a little bit on some resources for the game. I want to make a couple redesigns of the logo. So I want to make the logo itself in couple variants, just to make sure that everything's going to work well. Because it's supposed to be like the title logo, right, for the game. So I'll have to like look at some other title logos for the other games, right? Then I'll have to make a render of it with colors, place color schemes. I'll have to have the mood board element of it all, right? And this whole mood board element is going to be also a little bit problematic, because we'll have to how to say this, we'll actually have to just kind of finish the entire logo, but I'll have to like keep everything saved because I want to throw it into portfolio. So I'm going to make a folder for that specific game, and I'm going to make like different stuff, right? So we are going to have heroes and whatnot. Heroes are going to be the same. Like for example, you can have a warrior jack, right? And you can pull out several cards of warrior jack, and those are going to be the same cards. That is because I want to also structurize different heroes and make designs for them which are going to also land in the portfolio. So basically I want to structurize this project graphic-wise to make sure that I'm going to have a nice looking portfolio just for the entire sake of it, right? But folks, enough of talk. How about that? Let's wrap up here, and as always, stay creative, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care and bye bye.